All right, I think I already got the next tutorial up in me, or at least I got the idea in my head as far as what it'll be about. And it'll probably be about keep modifiers, which could cycle into a nice little trick. So the rehearsal for it is to show how basically by keeping screw, whenever you draw a circle, it will basically keep the screw modifier alive, which, in our case, we put a decimate on top and a weld in order to prevent any sort of mishaps with our circles. So if we were to just scroll through the mods, we can actually see it in action here, where first it's a screw, then it receives a decimation, which cleans off the top faces, then a weld, which just basically merges everything to ensure that everything works out. So one of the benefits of working this way is we could also go in and do something like turn off auto hide. And so let's bring back that cutter and let's just cut. And we also want to turn on live mode. So basically now every shape we draw has been kept live. And so we have all these circles here. And normally when I cut a circle, it doesn't matter to me what's going to happen to it, but let's actually delete the camera, and I'm just going to draw a circle on the ground. And so this circle is going to actually become the prime circle of all these other circles. In fact, I still want back those circles as well. Don't know how they got hidden, but we'll just select these, or we'll just select one, and under steps we will just first on this one we'll do something called copy data path, and on this one we will add a driver, and we want that to be a single property of, geez, what's this object's name? Circle. Good. How imaginative. Edit driver, single property of circle, and that property is this. And oh wait, we want it to be var. So now that means that basically if I lower the segments on this one, it propagates. But the thing is I also want it to happen to the render as well. So we will copy that driver and paste it here. And so I can just select all of these and this one and just Control L, link modifier, since they're all exactly the same. And so now when I lower the segments of one, all right, they didn't get the drivers. Let's try it again. Paste driver, copy to selected, copy to selected. So let's see if that works. You think you'd be able to, and we're just pasting drivers, I guess. So I wonder if there's a way that this could be automated to be faster. I mean, I'm always thinking about that, especially when I'm doing something over and over. I mean, basically for this example, I'm going to need to draw like, I don't know, 3 circles in order to show this without having to pull my hair out. All right, so now we can lower it down and we have these dynamic circles. So we bring back the mesh, and so we have like this control circle. And this is one of the reasons why you would want to keep something like keep shape on, is if you're, getting weird with things. Keep lattice is another interesting one, which keep lattice is actually the basis of how we draw all of our shapes. So basically if we draw this shape, we have this lattice, which one user pointed out could be used to do something like this, where you slide one end up, or let's see, that wasn't it. You actually, let's see, you slide that one up, and we slide this one up, basically giving us a rather interesting take on the circle itself. In fact, we can move it, which seems to also get us some pretty interesting results. I'm pretty sure that's an accident of the lattice parenting or something, but in any case, that would be a case for keep shape lattice, which is very rare. No one should do that. Almost don't want to show that. Almost don't even want to talk about keep shapes, because people are going to go in here and just mess up their keep shapes. But keep shapes determines the shapes that are kept. on the cutter, or the shape in this case. So let's see. Also the auto smooth is a little off. So right now we're at 30, let's put that at 60. So now we can actually jump up the auto smooth and see this thing as we're supposed to see it. So just a quick way to set up circles. And then of course you still have the BC transformer. For example, let's say we wanted to duplicate that particular cutter. We can just hold shift and duplicate it. And this thing has been duplicated with those drivers already attached. So that's probably another quick tip I can actually throw in the video as well. So let's do this. Turn off the BC transformer until it's time. We'll turn off keep screw until it's time. All right, sorry, got distracted. Just thinking about this. All right. And I bet my shapes are already set to keep live because of the settings carrying over from our previous setup. So we want to have auto hide on, and we want to have show shape. In fact, auto hide and show shape should probably be right by each other. I'll check into that. I mean, I'm always thinking about ways to further optimize the order and layout of things, but yeah, we want to have show shape off, and we want to have auto hide off at the start of this, so that way it's as if people were looking at the defaults and we were going through it together. So let's do this. Always follow your train. No, I'm kidding. Actually, bad take. This isn't even a cube. What am I doing? Gotta start with a cube. Everybody has a cube. All right. Hello everyone. In this video I want to talk about a small area of box cutter under the behavior panel called keep modifiers. This area actually determines what modifiers are being kept on a mesh when it's being used as a cutter. For example, if you put an array on a mesh, we choose to keep the array live for you so you can modify it. We keep the mirror live for you. But by default, we don't actually keep the screw live. So I wanted to do a video talking about screw and how you can actually use it in a live state to maybe even have adjustable circles. So first we will just go into box cutter and I'll press D and switch to circle, and we'll just draw this circle, but I'll shift to keep it live. If we look at this in edit mode, this is basically the final circle, and that's good and all. One of the benefits of this is we can control click mark in hard ops to do basically a reverse bevel because this is already applied. But let's say that we didn't actually care about that and we wanted to non-destructively control circles. So what I'll do is go under add modifiers and we'll choose keep circle. And so I'll shift to live, which will keep this shape live. However, unfortunately on the next cut, it will disappear. So in order to prevent that, what we can do is actually go under show shape, which will actually show the shape after you've drawn it. And we can actually turn off auto hide, which will no longer hide the shapes that we're drawing. So now we can actually stack up these shapes non-destructively and actually see them as they're created. In fact, if we go to the modifier panel, you can see that our circle is nothing more than a screw, a decimate, and a weld. So what we'll do at this point is actually just draw a circle, which for some reason will just hide everything. I'll just press Alt H to bring it back. And with this non-destructive circle, what we can do is first locate its name. This is circle. We'll select this one, and we're going to right click and add a driver. But before that, I want to actually copy the data path of this one. So I want to copy the data path of steps, and then we can actually even go here and just paste driver, and we can't paste a driver on itself. Jesus. All right, so I got to start that one over, but also I got to find out why that crash happened. I mean, it wasn't even anything box cutter related. I was just putting a driver on itself. I mean, I already know I was about to do something bad. I just wanted to see if I could connect the steps Geez, are drivers still having issues? Maybe I shouldn't be showing people drivers. Maybe drivers should still be against the law. But I have faith in Blender's ability to resolve these cyclic dependencies and actually make drivers a capable mainstay. So after that strange crash, don't know why that happened, I brought Blender back up, and we will just copy data path, and we'll right click render steps, and we will just, let's see, add driver. And under driver, we'll just choose single property. And that's a prop, and we want to just select circle and paste our steps here. And we just want this to be actually equal to far. So now that we're done, basically as we lower our segments, it'll be the same in our render, which is something I think that should probably be a thing in Blender anyways. But if we select this shape, we can go ahead and just right click and paste driver into both these fields. Same thing here. I wonder if we can drag both and right click and paste driver. Nope. So we have to do it one by one, paste driver, and for the last one, we will also paste the driver. So if you find this to be a slightly tedious process, I'm definitely with you there. But the added benefit is now we're able to actually lower the segments and raise them on the fly. But the downfall is unless it's applied and simplified at the top, we won't be able to basically do a reverse bevel. But this is just one of the ways you could possibly work with Box Cutter. So what if you were to want to actually duplicate one of these shapes? We'll select this shape and actually go under the surface drop down, and under gizmo, the last remaining gizmo is the bc.transformer. So if we turn that on, you can actually shift drag these arrows in order to duplicate this mesh, which will retain all the properties of the previous version. So we'll just shift drag a couple of these duplicates around. We'll shift drag this one even though it's not adjustable. We'll select this one and shift click drag it around just to make it also adjustable. And we can go back to our prime shape and just lower our segments and increase them just at our own will. So this is just a different type of way to approach the circle inside of Box Cutter. Another use of keep modifier, and we'll go ahead and turn off gizmo for this, is to use circle and keep lattice. So we'll draw this shape, but instead of just keeping it, we'll go ahead and keep the lattice. So I want to show a case for this one where you draw a circle, shift to keep lattice, and we have the shape live, and we can actually go in edit mode, grab these points of the lattice, and just make a alternative type of circle. And this is an interesting way to get various type of circles inside of Box Cutter because taper hasn't been added yet. But I just wanted to do a quick video basically talking about keep modifiers, just show some drivers in action, power through a crash, brought to you by Power Save. Not really, but with that, we can wrap up this video, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, so I shouldn't give Blender's autosave credit for Power Save, actually. Actually, I'll put some text on top of it at the end saying actually Blender's autosave, but let's look at this. Let's look at how debilitating this crash was. It was right here, bam. I could cut it out. It's really pretty organic. I should just say crash instead of displaying the crash. I mean, do I even have to display my wallpaper? What am I showing? Just my wallpaper. All right, let's see. We'll cut there, and then we'll go past the crash. There we go, and I'll catch the part where I said that was a strange crash. I said Jesus. Oh, that's fucking funny. Oh, let's see. All right. like to catch these parts where crashes happen to show that they do at least happen to everyone. I mean, it's just a part of life. We're all using in development, open source experimental software, so it comes with the territory. In fact, damn, should I do a double take of that? I just don't know. I could probably do that smoother and actually without a crash. So just giving it some contemplation, get distracted over here. All right. So let's just close that blender, open up a new blender, and we might go ahead and go for that double take. In fact, I might leave this in there as well. I mean, these videos are super short. So we'll just move that down at the end and prepare a new recording. All right, let's pull it together, guys. Let's pull it together. I'm actually standing at the desk this morning just to give my legs a workout. Killing my legs, so that's what they don't tell you about these standing desks. Is, I mean, I guess people should be on their feet for a long time. That's what it shows. So do a little stomping around on the box cutter mat. But anyways, I guess it's time to do this. So let's do this. All right. And I'm back in the game. Back in the game. Done being distracted. Closing all my distractions. It's just you and me and this tutorial about keep modifiers. So looking at our settings just in advance, for some reason input's always open for me. So weird. We want to make sure that auto hide is on and show shape is not on, so that way we turn them on, because I want to throw in extra tips in this video, make it as tip filled as possible. So that's one. Let's see, what else? Think, take a drink. Also keep bevel, having it be off is also kind of useful. I should talk about that. I should lead with that. All right. I bet it's fine the other way though, when you think about it, right? Because the example for keeping bevel is to be able to get in here and just shift to live and just add a double loop cut and grab a face and move it like so. And I mean, you're basically able to do that off the bat, even with weight involved. In fact, you could bring back the cutter and still get in here and adjust that. So that's not a strong point for keeping bevel and keeping solidifies. There's really no reason to not keep any of these other mods that are kept on, I guess, is the main point I want to get across. So let's do this. Select it from the front. And so whenever I draw the custom shape, it's going to auto hide my stuff. And that's because custom cutter plays by different rules. In fact, you should be glad that it's hiding things, because the alternative is actually worse. You know, it's a work in process. Everything's a work in process. All right, let's get in. Let's do it. Hello everyone, MasterZeon1001 here, and in this video I wanted to do a quick tip about keep modifiers. Keep modifiers is located under the behavioral sprocket in the top bar, and when you look at it you'll notice that keep bevels on, keep solidifies on, keep arrays on, keep welds on, and keep mirrors on, which means that basically these modifiers are kept on generally when an operation is used, and it's live, so you're able to adjust it afterwards. For example, if I were to just draw a box and I press B and shift it to live, this box is still live, and I can even go in edit mode and begin making modifications to the mesh itself and still be able to come out in object mode and still modify it due to its modifiers being live. However, one to point out is keep spin or keep screw. Keep screw is part of what powers our circle. So by not having it on, it does give you the added benefit of basically drawing a circle, and that circle will allow you to grab the face on the outside and do basically what's called a reverse bevel, which is where Hops detects that it's a bowl shape and flips to normal, allowing you to bevel it differently than normal. But there are some benefits actually to keeping it non-destructive as well. So by toggling this on, that means that whenever you draw a circle, it is now live. And this means that we can go under our modifiers, and by clicking on the steps and adjusting them, we can actually adjust how much this circle is cutting into the mesh still while it's a non-destructive form before we C-sharp it or apply it or smart apply it or however we choose to apply our modifiers. So the next time I draw a cut, this shape's going to disappear. And this is because of something called show shape. Show shape will actually show a shape when after it's been drawn. However, auto hide will actually hide the shape automatically on the next draw. So if you don't want these on, they are behaviors that you're able to turn off under behaviors. But now whenever I draw, you'll see that once I have the right mesh selected, that this shape will just stay alive, and the right mesh is selected, so I'm able to keep making these cutters without having to worry about anything. So the next thing I want to discuss was basically if I deselect this and we draw a shape on the surface, this shape is now live as well. However, because of custom cutter being the way it is, it plays by its own rules. So it basically auto hit everything. We'll press Alt H to actually bring that back. And let's take a look at screw here. So what I want to do is actually right click on screw and copy data path, and we'll select the first one, and we will just right click, add driver, and under driver we just want to change this to single property and just select the circle that we just created and just set the data path to the one that we just copied. But we don't want it to be var plus 32, we want it to just be var. So now this object has a driver that connects it to this object, meaning that if I lower the segments, you can see the segments also getting lower on the other object. So this is a interesting way to kind of control things using control objects. So we'll copy this driver, we'll paste it to render just to really lock things down, and we'll do the same thing with each circle. So you might notice that this is a slightly tedious process, and this is because, you know, as drivers become more stable, we definitely want to integrate them more into our general workflows. But at this time, they just barely got over the cyclic dependency hump that kind of made them a little limited. But we do experiment with them at various intervals throughout hard ops. So let's say I wanted to duplicate this, drivers and modifiers and all. Well, for that, under the surface dropdown, you do have the last remaining gizmo, the bc.transformer. And with this active, it brings up a gizmo that if we shift click on any of the axes, we can drag it, keep the modifiers, keep the drivers, keep everything, and also keep it live with this mesh. And what this also means, after I turn the gizmo back off, sometimes it gets weird to keep it. Now I'm able to also, let's paste the driver right here. But now whenever I lower the steps of this, it lowers the steps for both the render, the viewport, and also allows us to control it non-destructively. So this is one reason why one would want to experiment with keeping screw, just in case you are wanting to work so non-destructively, you even want control over your cutters. But it will get a little bit dicey since screw can tend to flip normals on a whim. The next one I want to talk about is keep lattice. So every shape we draw in box cutter is actually powered by lattice. So we'll just draw a circle and it will just stay alive. And now we have our lattice. So with this lattice, we can grab the bottom 4 points and do basically anything. We can scale them in, basically giving us a quick taper on the circle, just showing that we have yet to add taper to box cutter, but it is in the plans. We can skew it and begin messing with the very angle of the circle itself, and then select the main shape and just lower to auto smooth to allow these shape deformations to take place. But I just wanted to go over 2 of the more obscure keep shape aspects of box cutter and how they could possibly be used in order to help you get more interesting shapes. And then of course, to get back to your general behavior that you know and love, just remember to turn these off whenever you're done. And with that, we'll wrap up this video and I'll see you guys next time. All right, so that was a take that involved no crashing. And I think instead of showing the take after the first take, which might be tacky, we'll just delete that take and it will just be part of the extendo cut. So you guys can see how I almost printed a version that crashed, but instead I re-recorded it to be slightly more eloquent. It just seemed smarter. So that will roll good, keep mono, local file. I just recorded it so I don't need to listen to it. We'll call this keep modifiers, and so that is that. And that also means that this is this. So this video is basically over. 26 minutes. I mean, I guess I got this bar to wait on, so I might as well, you know, hit it up with a little Box City just while I'm standing at the computer. Just Box City is my favorite game. Also, notice that I have something on that isn't supposed to be on. Auto hide and show shape. Get those out of here. Ooh, I did not. Oh my God, I did not. Oof, hopefully, I'll need to double check those videos, you guys. All right, so box cutter's clean, but the hard ops one, really gotta double check that one. Might have to cancel all videos today. However, I think I kept it pretty agnostic, but I think I might have accidentally showed the next hard ops. All right, so that actually looks like I'm fine, but yeah, let me check topo study. This one's probably fine too. Oh no, that was just some hardcore poly modeling up in there. Just some modeling. That was it. All right, I was worried for a moment. So yeah, wrap this video. I'll see you guys next time.